I'm gonna look at your results. I'm like, dude, you probably don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I still like to hold the belief that if somebody is making a million net on Amazon each year, they are definitely doing things that somebody who's not making a million net are. Like, I'm a free man. I'm just gonna say whatever the fuck I want. I'm gonna call bullshit when I see it. The truth is, on social media, like, you just take one screenshot of whatever's happening, and people don't get to see the whole picture, you know? So, like, obviously you want to grow your business to as much profit as possible. It's like, what is the bottleneck? Like, what is the one thing you can work on today and only focus on that? I don't know how much you guys have been influenced by Joe Rogan, but I've been listening to him since I was like 14 years old. And so when it comes to creating content and podcasts and stuff, I'm really inspired by him because you can tell he doesn't bring people on he doesn't want on ever.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Side Hustle Experiment Podcast. Today we got Avery Martin, Romer the Romer, bookseller, go-to lister, Miami Sellers Conference founder, restricted inventory. I'm sure there's some other stuff I'm forgetting. Thanks for being here, man. We appreciate it.
I got ADHD. You got too many things I'm focusing on. I just need to pick one.
Well, usually we do an intro, but you already here. You've been here before, so if you want to know his intro, just look his name up. So I want to get right into the juicy stuff, dude. You are in a beef right
Sweet.
now, right?
A
We
little
saw
bit,
your
yeah.
beef on Instagram.
Yeah. You call it a beef. I'm not like
What else would
emotionally
you call
invested
it?
enough to like think of it as a beef. I've been more mad in the past at people. This is more of like, I think this guy's a fucking idiot, and I think it's a good promotion for my event, so I'm like going off on him, kind of thing.
I didn't think about that aspect. That probably,
Mhm.
that bad timing on his part to do that, and then that's
Yeah.
obviously just going to drive views to your shit, which are all.
Yeah, in the past, people have called me out and like, okay, we're starting out hard as fuck here, but
That's what
I
we're
feel
doing.
like I feel like wokeism was like way more of a like a juicy topic a year or two ago, and we got called out for having only white men speak at Miami Sellers Conference, and I was in the position of like, I got my shit going, I'm like focusing, and like this girl, Eat Sleep Amazon, said that we don't have any trans, gay, whatever on the lineup. I'm like, first of all, how do you know? Like, how do you really know? And second of all, okay, and like I didn't have enough like energy to like really like make a logical rebuttal, and and it also like I feel like as a country as a whole, there was more. She could have gotten away with a lot. Maybe like a bunch of people would have chimed in, which they did, that we were doing like the wrong thing. But I feel like now if she tried to pull that card, it just wouldn't work. I don't know if you guys feel the same way or not.
Yeah.
But anyway, this guy that called me out was he was just saying stupid stuff. He was actually going the opposite direction, which like he was saying that girls only get views because of boobs. Anyone that posts they make seven figures is a liar, which ironically in his bio, he said he made seven figures. This is Nathan from Hustle Buddies. And then he also said, forget the last point, seven figure, anyone that posts like orange bars all the time. So they're like, those were like the few things. And then he said half the speaker lineup at Miami Sellers Conference was faking their sales. And so that's like a bold claim. And like, people say shit, and like the problem I have with it is like, if you have people that follow you and respect you, and you're telling people like, hey, by the way, like anybody who says they make seven figures is lying, then like you're shutting a lot of like people's idea down of what's possible, which I feel like at Miami Sellers Conference we attempt to do the opposite. Like, we want that young man that thinks he can make fucking eight figures on Amazon to show up to the event. And we want him to fully go at it. Cause like if you do that for years, like it's eventually gonna work out. It's just gonna take a long ass time and a lot of pain and suffering. But like if you just accept from day one, like, oh, all these people are liars, it's like it's an excuse, it's a cop out. I think it's a weak mindset to have. And then the whole thing about him talking shit about girls with posting their boobs to get views, it's like he's just mad that his videos aren't getting that many views. And you know, that's like a ethic debate that you have to have with yourself if it's okay to show your body off to get views. But the fact of the matter is Rebecca's getting more views than him. And it's like, if your whole Instagram page gets less views than a set of boobs on another person's page, you're probably going to be pretty salty. And so, but anyway, like the main thing he said was half the speaker lineup was full of shit, and I kind of debunked it. And I was like, the only people that aren't making a whole lot of money on Amazon that I know of that I've invited to be speakers are Rebecca. She's like a six-figure seller, whatever. She's not making like millions on Amazon. Um, and then Reezy and Miles. Like those are the only people I can think of that don't put up like crazy huge numbers. And then Reezy's the biggest Amazon influencer in the space. He's brought the most people in I've known from his YouTube channel. He's got 500,000 subscribers, was featured on Gary Vee, and he's sold 15 million on Amazon over the years. Like this guy's not just a complete noob when it comes to Amazon. And then people like to talk shit about Miles a lot, flips for Miles, because he's making bank from software and selling courses. And he's made a lot on Amazon too. He did 400K in 1 month in December a few years ago. I don't even know if he sells on Amazon anymore. I don't care because like when I talk to the community, I'm like, how'd you get started? Blah, blah, blah. I go to other events. I go to Amazon Accelerate. I go to AMZ United. Like I go to these events and like see what the fuck's going on. And it blows my mind how many people are like, yeah, like I started because of Miles. And so like in my book, he's super legit too. So like those are the only three people I can think of who aren't making like, and then Cade, but Cade's at like 500,000 in followers. He used to do retail arbitrage, which is ironic because that's what Hustle Buddies does too, which I think is one of the worst ways to scale Amazon. I've been selling on Amazon for almost 10 years if you include me selling my first textbook. The people in the game who are staying around the longest are the wholesale people and the private label people. Those people have like real brands that they're scaling, and the book people, the people that have built like a real book business. And so the whole hustle side of things, like OA, those people come and go really fast. RA, those people usually come and go semi fast. They actually stick around longer than the OA people. Like I don't know any OA people who have really stuck around for years. They're very few. Like they come and they usually graduate to wholesale, and then the private label guys and wholesale guys are like, kind of like living the dream of like eventually building your Amazon business to the point where it's just running on autopilot. So I guess you could group Cade into like maybe that's four sellers that aren't selling a lot on the speaker lineup, but I've justified my reason on why I've invited them. You have me who sold seven figures for the last 7 years. I cracked seven figures like my second or third year on Amazon. Taylor Jones, you got Watch Me Amazon, who sells like a couple million a month. Amazon Lit sells several million a month. Scott Needham, who's like literally top 50 Amazon seller, maybe like top 150 at this point. We got Shurzad, who started selling in 2019, and he sold 15 million over the last 12 months to used books. Like literally all the speakers are fucking crushing it with their Amazon sales. And so to say like half of the speaker lineup's not putting up numbers, he's bitter because Rebecca's boobs are getting more views than him, and because Miles is making a shit ton off courses, and what's the other Cade, which he probably doesn't know shit about him, and he's probably upset about Reezy too being on there. But Reezy's like an OG in this space, and I think Reezy paved the path for a lot of us to start doing Amazon content the way we do. Like he was the first one to really do it, you know. So that's my rebuttal to him. And I just like enjoy like talking shit to people. And I don't know if we'll ever be friends. Like I don't feel like I like his vibe. But like right now I don't think his outlook on life is very positive. And so he'd really have to change his perspective. But I've like torn people apart on social media before, and when we met in person, we were really cool. FBA Dave was one of them. He said I was a scammer for like selling books, pallets of books to people. I did book automation back when Amazon automation took off. I did book automation, and he was like, "This guy's full of shit. He's scamming everybody." I'm like, "Fuck you!" And like, I like tore him apart logically on like why I was like, not scamming people. And then it turns out I lost 25 grand because I had to refund people their money, and like I did it out of my bank to make sure that I didn't scam people on this automation thing. And then like a few years later I was like, Dave, you were right. Like the books that we're selling were shitty. And he actually like took a screenshot of the books that I was selling to people, and he like looked at the individual book sales ranks and he's like, these all suck. And like I'm not detail oriented enough to do that. I just looked at like the whole sum of sales rank and the whole sum of profit, and I was like, oh, like we're good here, like we're gonna make money. And then ended up having to fork out 25 grand like in 2021. And then we met in person last year at the Books and Beyond event, and we just like he was like pretending like to box me, and we met. I'm like, bro, like you're a good guy, and like we ended up being friends. And so maybe it could happen with Nathan, but I don't think his outlook on life and Amazon sellers is like I think he's very bitter, and I think it's a very dangerous attitude. I think it's an attitude a lot of the community ends up getting at some point, whether you're a creator, whether you're an Amazon seller yourself, you realize how hard it is, and then you get bitter towards other people who are crushing it. And I just think it's a bad attitude to like accept and like encourage other people to embody that attitude. I don't think it's good, a net positive thing to do, especially like in the landscape we live in, like with Section 3s and accounts getting shut down. Like it's fucking crazy out here, you know? And like the more negativity, like we need objective outlook on how tough things are, but we don't need the outlook that things are impossible and like people that just don't think big things can happen. And I think that's kind of like the view on life he has.
Yeah, I think the irony of it is like I don't have the most positive outlook on Amazon, but I stopped selling like 2 years ago. So I feel like I'm not being a
Yeah.
hypocrite. Like I could be wrong, but I'm definitely not a hypocrite. I'm telling my truth, what I believe. And I've like it's a little weird, throws me off because why would you go sell courses, do all this stuff? And then like seemingly what he's doing is he's shitting on people for selling info, right? And that's reasonable if you don't sell info. I'm like, okay, you can be the guy who's like, these people are scammers, they're selling info. If you don't do it, at least you're not a hypocrite. But this guy's like doing this stuff, and that's clearly what he's saying. Is like what you said. He's just mad at these other people that are selling the info. This is like,
Yeah.
fine. I don't know who this dude is. I don't even get on stuff anymore. But John sent it to me, so I looked into it. That's what I found, a bit ironic. It's like because what you really should be doing is bringing people up. Because the reality
Yes.
is, if they fail with your info, other people, they're going to come to you. So you should be like, hey, this guy's
Yeah.
good. And be like, well, I know it didn't work out for you. Here, buy my shit instead. That's what he really should be doing instead of trying to create some enemies with everybody. But I'm not
Yeah.
his marketing guy, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like objective to a fault. I think sometimes this logic can like actually hurt you, but I look at like people who have done it and people who are making a lot of money, and like I literally invite those people to speak at my event because I think they're the most fucking legit. And so for him to make a claim like that like goes against my whole philosophy on like how I operate. And like I embody the belief that if someone has results, they know something you don't, or they're doing something that you're not. And he's flexing like when he called us out, he's got like 36K sales in the last 7 days, which whatever for a newbie, like that's good, but like for someone who's been selling on Amazon for years, like that's in my opinion is barely scratching the surface of what it means to be an Amazon seller. Like I like to look at people like Watch Me Amazon, Amazon Lit, Scott Needham, and then even like my friends who I've watched build their businesses from scratch, who are and like these people don't even post on social media a lot of times. If you're making 500,000 to 1 million net each year, I have your respect and I listen to like what you have to say about selling on Amazon. And if you're just gonna talk shit about people selling 7 figures, blah blah blah, like I'm gonna look at your results. I'm like, dude, you probably don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And so I say it's to a fault because like maybe sometimes people do get lucky and maybe sometimes like certain circumstances help people get there. But regardless, I still like to hold the belief that if somebody is making 1 million net on Amazon each year, they are definitely doing things that somebody who's not making 1 million net are, you know? And so that's how I operate. And that like, so to make a claim that 50% of the speaker line is bullshit, I know I'm gonna fucking destroy you.
So we could actually we might cut this out, but to just be so what he put in his Instagram thing, he created that image with ChatGPT. So that wasn't his image or his sales. So he was just
Really?
like, yeah, I could fake it. This is what I made in ChatGPT.
Oh, so
I
he
just
didn't even
reread it.
make 36K?
No,
I
that
don't
was
know
the
what he made or
context
whatever.
of what it was.
Yeah, that was the context.
Wait, so what did he wait, did he do more or less than that?
He was just saying, look how easy it is to fake it.
Gotcha.
That's funny
Yeah.
that you had this whole beef and that was the first line of the picture.
It's even like I mean 36K is good, don't get me wrong, but like
That's also
there's
a
people
weird
making
thing to
so much
attack people.
fucking money on it.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing. That's like just like I get the argument that the guy's trying to make. Like if he was just went about it differently. Like if he was just going to say like these guys aren't making as much, and they attack certain people, maybe he could do that type of thing. Like I don't think it's right anyways, but to say people are faking their sales, like bro, that's obviously bullshit. Like now they might be
Yeah, there's
faking
not
their
that many
product.
people out there. I mean, they're out there.
Yeah,
And like I think we should call them out when they exist. Like Kevin David, like I can name them off. Kevin David was probably the worst one. He edited someone's sales. You can maybe group KT Hustles in there, but KT Hustles was legit too. Like he did like 500,000 in sales, and he was selling like whatever. A lot of people knew his storefront. That man was making fucking money on Amazon, and but people didn't like his approach. KT Hustles was more like super flashy, showing watches, like living in Miami, which a lot of these guys do. And it's like a lot of people didn't like that style,
yeah,
but and maybe he didn't have like the most results for his students. But besides Kevin David, like I can't think of like a full on fucking fake. There's like other ones that I don't really know like and like there's a lot of people in the info space. Like if you go to like ClickFunnels events, like a lot of
Mhm.
those guys are full of shit. But in terms of Amazon, like I'm sure there's a handful of other ones, but none that I can like think of right now off the top that are just like full on faking it. Now what they're probably referring to is like someone posting that they made 1 million on Amazon, and we all know that that person probably kept like 100K or maybe 200K if they're lucky, or maybe 50K, you
yeah,
know? And like, but to somebody that doesn't know Amazon, they're probably like, wow, this person's making like 500K a year at least, you know?
yeah. That's probably what he's referring to. Yeah, of just like,
Hmm.
look, we can just bump these numbers up, and you could say you made this much money. I guess.
Yeah.
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 Huh. Interesting stuff. What other kind of? You have any other beefs that have been on recently?
Uh, I'm
Actually,
open
I
to
have a
that.
better question here. I have a better question. That's a shitty question. Wait, do these beefs? Do you think correlate to like sales for your stuff? Like, do you think that all that engagement will help you? Do you think you'll like
I think
actually?
it will. I think some people will be turned off by it, but
Mhm.
I think the right people will be turned on by it and be like, yeah, I want to. But it definitely gets more views. Yeah, for sure. Um, I've always kind of been that way though, and I'm probably going to be more and more that way as I think I kind of like walk the line of like I don't really know where I'm going to go with like my personal brand and stuff. And now like as I've matured as a marketer and stuff, I'm like fuck it. Like I'm a free man. I'm just going to say whatever the fuck I want. I'm going to call bullshit when I see it. And I feel like that's part of it. Like if because people that work corporate jobs or people that work for other people can't say things like this online, you know, and like part of like showing that you are free is being able to like just fucking choose somebody out on the internet.
Well, it's true. It's definitely true. We, me and John were just having this conversation. It's just like we were talking about, like, how do we replicate this big episode that we just had? It's like, dude, just be honest. Like, talk to people, ask fucking questions that you want, tell the truth. Like, if somebody says something you don't agree with, push back on them, stuff like that. That's like that is the key. And not only is it like showing you're free, it gets you more views. It, like people can see that stuff, they believe you, they trust what you have to say. Yes, I agree, man. It's like that's kind of the job of all
Yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah, I just hate like people being fake on social media, you know, and it's not like you should share like all the shitty stuff. And I think that's kind of what he was harping at too, is like all these people are showing like their sales, like you don't know what the true story behind it. And like the truth is with social media, like you only ever see a screenshot in someone's life. So if someone posts a picture of them fucking smiling and then you're hanging out with them and like 5 minutes later they're fucking pissed off or annoyed or irritated and you're a fake bitch. Like you were just you're posting to the world that you're this happy motherfucker and now you're like irritated at the fucking hot sun and like whatever, like the waitress and like you fucking you're full of shit, like changing your image. And like the truth is on social media, like you just take one screenshot of whatever is happening and people don't get to see the whole picture, you know? So that's the battle we have to deal with. But you get to choose what you put out there. You get to choose what you want to throw out there in the world. The more the podcasts are harder to fake because like you're on there for like an hour, you know, but people are listening and people are absorbing and like hearing the energy of whatever your words had to say. And like I think that's powerful. And I think if your videos get less views and you're putting out a message that at the time resonates with you, maybe in the future it won't, but right now is like your truth, I feel like that's better than posting some fake shit and getting a bunch of views. And then if you can mature as a content creator and as time goes on, be like, oh, like people like it when I go off and like this is true how I feel right now. And you can make a logical argument that doesn't sound like you're being like a bitch or whining or whatever. And you can like embarrass someone on social media and like create like a dialogue and get more views and make it interesting and not make it boring as fuck while speaking your truth. Like that's probably like the pinnacle of creating content, you know? And so it's not like black and white of like, oh, like let's be authentic and get 3 views, or like let's be uh inauthentic and get 1 million views. It's not really like that necessarily. And then I've even seen things like I won't say his name, but he's been at our events before. I actually respect what he did, but I wouldn't do it because it wouldn't make me feel good. But I can see how like coming at it from a different angle would make you feel okay. And so what he did was he took a video that was viral where like he got some girl to like put an egg in the microwave and like it exploded. And he took that video viral video of somebody else like encouraging the girl to put the egg in the microwave. It was like a whatever it was like a chat roulette type situation or Omegle situation where like the girl like was on the screen like, oh, put the egg in the microwave, turn it to 60 seconds, and it blew up, and it was a viral video. Well, he redid it and he put himself there, and he acted like he was the guy, and like he just like made his face like really into it, and like, okay, now put it in the microwave and do this, and he was like giving her instructions, but really like the girl already did it before, like he wasn't
Yeah.
actually giving the girl instruct, and it went viral again. And I was like, oh, that was such a cool thing you did, blah blah blah. And I actually sent it to somebody else, and I was like, wow, like that was like such a funny video. And he's like, that wasn't even him. That was he just like reacted it. And like somebody would look at that and be like, wow, that's fake as fuck. Like, how could you do that? But for him, it might be like kind of like a funny thing to do, you know? And like, oh, he's like just getting off on like, wow, like look how easy it is to trick the algorithm. And so I think at the end of the day, like, you know what kind of content makes you feel good and like what's true for you. And so like if you violate your own principles, and like you're the fucking idiot, you know? But like if you post stuff that you know is good, then you're good, you know? And then there's the idea of like growing a business. Like I'm trying to grow Go To Lister, and half the fucking time I don't want to make a video about selling books because I've already made 1,000 videos on how to sell books, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking make this video right now, but I know I need to make it, and that's like a whole different thing. That's more like, all right, let's fucking grind through this, but let's go back to the principles of like making sure the content's true. Let's make it as interesting as possible. Like, don't make this fucking boring. Like, I think that's really important. Like, don't make boring content. Like, nobody fucking wants to watch boring ass shit, you know? And so don't like use the excuse that, oh, this is true, or like this is authentic, blah blah blah. Like you can still like use your brain and like try to find some angles to make it at least a little bit interesting, you know?
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. And I think Hermosi talks about it a lot, where it's, if you just speak your truth and just live your life, no one can really call you a fraud because that's what you do. Like, as long as it's like that. So I think even if you're wrong, at least you like made your argument and then the people could decide whether or not. But like, if that's what
Yeah.
you truly think, I mean, that's what it
Yeah, you
is.
might change your opinion in the future, and that's the thing is like if you're like us, where you post a lot of your life and a lot of your opinions on social media, you might look back in like 5 years and be like, I was a fucking idiot in that moment. But I think in the moment, speaking what you believe is true is the best thing you can do. The worst thing you can do is like speaking what you know is not to be true and like deceiving people and manipulating people, and then that's when you really, I think that's when you go to hell, and like you have like a moral dilemma with yourself if you have a conscience. And like I've done that before. Like I've done things where I've kind of stretched it a little bit, and then I'm stretching a little bit more, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And I think that's where a lot of content creators and like people on the internet get in trouble, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to go into some examples or no? If you're still listening to the podcast at this point, you are into it and a fan, and we really appreciate that. If you could do us a solid and like, subscribe, and do all that stuff, it really helps the podcast grow. And secondly, if you could tag us on Instagram, just take a picture of what part you are at the podcast. If you like it, tell us what you think about it. Tag me at Side Hustle Experiment, and I will definitely share it. Now let's get back to the podcast.
Yeah, I sometimes I'll do these webinars and I'll be in a good place and I'll like absolutely crush it. And then like a few weeks later, I won't be in a good place in terms of like my perspective on like the business. Let's just say selling books on Amazon. And then I'll be like, I'll maybe say something like too much. I'm like, you're gonna make like 10,000 like your first month. Like I promise you will, blah blah blah. And then I'm like, I can't fucking promise that. Like how am I going to promise someone's going to make, and then like after the webinar, I'm like, why the fuck did I say that? You know, like that's one example. Another example is I promoted like a crypto course in 2021, and um, Jason Fladlian, who Alex Hormozi's talked about, like he's a legit character. He was the one promoting it, and I was like, oh, Jason Fladlian's legit. I'm gonna promote it, and then turns out, I think actually Miles called me out for it. Flister Miles was like, he's like, real Avery is promoting fake crypto course, and I'm like, whatever. Like we're making money and like crypto's popping right now. You know, like we're good. And then crypto crashed, and I looked back at the course, and I had 4K that I put in their crypto program. It was like an automated crypto trading thing, and the platform they told me to put it in got like you couldn't even withdraw funds if you were in America. And I'm like, we were selling this to Americans, and they were telling us to use KuCoin, and now you can't even withdraw funds if you have your money in KuCoin. And had my VA withdraw 4 grand. It like dropped from 13K that I put in to like 4 grand, and I had to withdraw it into my VA's bank account, and then he sent it to me. And I look back at that, and I'm like, that went against my principles. Like I didn't know shit about it, but at the time, I don't think I was really violating too much. I think it was like as it went on, I realized how full of shit it was, and I just kept doing it. That's another example. One time, somebody convinced me to do a fake live webinar. So we were crushing it with webinars, and he was like, "Let's just make it like a recorded webinar and say it's live." And I'm like, "You can't fucking do that." He was like, "Yeah, like everyone's doing it." And I'm like, "Well, this guy's like smarter than me. He's a millionaire. He's made way more money. He's saying do it." He's like really pushing me to do it. And I'm like, "All right, let's do it." And I did it twice. And then some guy was like, "I took time off work to go to your webinar, and I know it wasn't real because the timestamp, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Fuck it, dude. We're not doing this anymore." And so like, that's another example of when I violated my conscience with content. So I think like you have a choice of what you want to push out there, how you want to do it, and you know, you can choose to violate it or not. And I think everyone knows, like as they're doing it, if it's good or not.
Yeah, that's a good point. What else you got, John?
So, what does your business look like now? Because I know you've your books, your wholesale. Are you looking
I
at
sold I
acquiring
sold my
people?
book business, so that's another thing we can talk about violating conscience. I built and sold a book business, not for a whole lot of money, but it made me a lot of money at one point. So I would sell restricted textbooks for people. So I started my Amazon business when I was in college, selling textbooks for my teammates, and then that grandfathered me into being able to sell textbooks years later when other Amazon sellers couldn't. So other Amazon sellers couldn't sell textbooks, but I could because I started selling them in 2016 in college. So year 2019 comes along, no new Amazon sellers can sell textbooks. I can. And so I told everyone, hey, send me your textbooks and I'll sell them on consignment and pay you 50% of the profit. And so I started selling them all on my account. Eventually, my account got shut down. Turns out there's a law firm that test buys books to see if they're authentic. They said 3 of my books were fake. If you buy enough books from an Amazon seller, eventually one of them is going to be fake, is what this law firm found out. So they test buy dozens of copies, and when they found one, they had a case against you, and then they get your account shut down. Back then, the account shutdowns weren't that bad. It lasted about 6 weeks, and then I partnered with other people, and eventually I partnered with someone who had a textbook account that could sell the textbooks officially, and the brand approved them to sell the textbooks. And so, speaking of like violating your conscience, again at the time, like you don't really know what you're doing until like you get deep into it. But I would convince other people to let me sell on their accounts. I had 4 accounts I was selling on, and then as I got deeper and deeper into it, I'm like, oh shit, like all these accounts are going to get suspended eventually. And so then I'm like, I'm putting other people at risk. But again, I partnered with someone who could sell the textbooks. They got approved by the brand themselves. Amazon knew about it, and then that connection allowed me to sell my book business. So I officially exited my book business last year. That was restrictedinventory.com. And in the meantime, I've been doing wholesale. I'm starting private label. Wholesale's cranking, making a bunch of money. Private label's getting up there. I think that has a lot of potential. And I got Go-To Lister. It's a software company in Miami Sellers Conference. And so I'm pretty deep in the space of making money on Amazon and making money online. And I'm a big believer if you just keep if you just don't stop and you stay connected, you're eventually gonna figure it out. And so, yeah, wholesale's making me the most money. Then my software company, that's my biggest thing I'm building. And then private label is kind of a fun thing, but I think private label will have a lot of like long term value in terms of for myself and also being able to teach it in the future too.
What about is the software company? How's that going with? We've talked about it on here before. Three Colts has like got all these things, and then Inventory Labs got like every software in one now. So that's obviously like a downturn effect. Like that doesn't mean good things. How are you seeing a big effect on GoToLister with like all these things happening? Like people leaving
I
Amazon.
don't. I think Inventory Labs like the least threat for us because they're kind of like so big, and I feel like they don't really have like a pulse on what the Amazon community needs. And like if you look at what they're doing, like they're buying a bunch of these softwares, but they don't really make sense. Like they're buying Scout IQ, which is a book sourcing tool, and then their Inventory Labs better for like Amazon sellers that are listing like regular items, not books. Like Inventory Labs not good for books. And then they buy Tactical Arbitrage, which is in conflict with Scout IQ because they're two different sourcing tools. And then Inventory Lab already had Stratify. Like it just looks like they're so big and they don't really know like what the fuck they're doing. I'm more concerned with like the new guys popping up. Like when Boxem launched, I'm like, okay, like those guys have a community. Like they're gonna be much harder competition than Inventory Lab is. And Acceleralist used to be the competition years ago. They used to do a great job, but now they're not around. They're not posting, and so I'm not really worried about them. Um, there's some other book selling tools, but I'm not worried about the book selling space at all because like we dominate that. Like we own that. Like I know all the guys who post about books, and like everyone else who's in the software space in the book world doesn't have anything on terms of social media or like conferences. And so I think community wins. I think the people on social media who can teach people win. Obviously you want to have a good product, but if we focus long enough, like we're gonna make the best product, you know? And we already have a really damn good product. So but Alex Ramosi has a saying, it's if you put your head down, or actually the saying is there is no competition. Like the competition isn't real. And so if you just do the necessary things and you have the right vessel to wealth, you're going to be okay. Like if you just wake up, work your 4 hours in the morning, drink your fucking coffee, pop your Nicorettes in the afternoon, like do everything you need to do, like it's going to be fucking good, you know? And I think we can get like distracted by like things that are happening and like the competition that's arising, like trends and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like I know me and all my friends are gonna build enough wealth in the next 10 years to never have to work again, hopefully sooner. But I put 10 years on it because, like, of course, if we work hard for the next 10 years, we're going to make it. Like, we all know this, no matter what you do, you know? And so, yeah.
It's a good way to look at it. If you think back, I think about that all the time. Like where I'm going to be in like 5, 10 years. And I'm like, whoa, 10 years ago, I was in high school, barely in high school. You know, you're probably the same.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
Yeah. So like, well,
Yes,
you
I,
just
I,
got out of high
I
school.
just graduated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago, dude. Like those memories feel like forever ago. So imagine what it's going to look like in
Yeah.
10 years. And if you just consistently put in
Yeah.
the work, it's like statistically impossible for you to not make it unless you quit. It's the only way
Yeah.
you're going to fail.
Yeah. And like, yeah. And just picking your vessel, picking your vehicle, back to what I was saying earlier, like, I don't think there's going to be like online arbitrage, I don't think is like a 10-year thing to do. But I think eventually like it gets you in the space and then you can see like, oh, like I want to create a SaaS or I want to do wholesale or like I want to make like eventually like you find what you know is gonna like get you there like 100%. And if you stay connected with people, you see people who are rich as fuck and people who are way ahead of you and you're like, well, what did they do? You know, like I hang out with the booksellers a lot, and there's some booksellers who make like fucking millions a year, like millions, and it's like, what the fuck did this guy do? Like, why are there so many broke booksellers over here, and then like there's this guy fucking making 20 million a year? Like, what the fuck is going on here? And then you just look at them and you like deduce what they've done, and maybe you're not going to do it the same way they are, you know? Or I've seen people in the software space. I was influenced a lot by Caleb Roth, who started and sold Scout IQ, and I saw how much money he made. And now I'm attempting to do that too, but it's going to look a lot different, you know? And so it doesn't have to happen fast either. I think we just have to like pick vehicles that are gonna get us there, like for sure, you know. And I think that's like why a lot of people have trouble with Amazon right now. Is it's like, oh, if you're placing all your bets on Amazon, and there's a chance it can just shut your account down, like a lot of people are put at like unease because of that. And I think it's like a legit thing to be put at unease about. I've been through like 9, 10 account shutdowns. Like, it's fucking insane. like, like it's really bad. But like now I've made over, I don't even know how much money this year, over 100,000, maybe more, maybe like 130, 150,000 this year already just from my Amazon business profit. And it was fucking hard to get there. And I had to go through a lot of bullshit, and now I have multiple accounts that I sell on, so now I'm like diversified and protected. But I can completely understand why someone would look at the Amazon space who's smart and be like, "Wait, this person who does 10 million got their account shut down. I don't want anything to do with that." Like, I completely get it, you know. But
Yeah. Well,
at the
this is
end
a
of the
good
day,
segue. Go ahead. Go
you
ahead.
said what?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think the people that just grind and work and stay connected, like they're gonna figure it out. Like I've even watched the Amazon people and like people who like fail on Amazon, like they'll transition to something else and they're fine, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a good segue. I'm trying to ask every guest we have on this year this question so we can compile all this at the end. But what do you think makes someone successful? Like after seeing all these top guys, after coaching probably a lot of people that you have and all this, like what is the, and you can't say consistency, although that's obviously important. So something besides consistency, what do you think's
Yeah,
the trait that makes someone
I
successful?
this might be like a variation of consistency, but I think it's just like the relentless pursuit towards a goal, and then coupled with choosing the right vehicle.
Okay.
So like I've seen people even in the Amazon space, I've seen a few people. And like back to my whole objective thing of like if someone's making this much, if someone's making 1 million a year, which some of my friends do, like I assume that they know something that somebody who doesn't make 1 million a year doesn't know. And but then I look at them and I'm like, this guy's a fucking idiot. Like he just got lucky. Like he's just got access to these fucking products that nobody else has access to, or he entered this space at a time and like created a software when like there wasn't that much competition and it blew up. Like back then when he did it was much easier, or like Amazon, like, and like that's like the other like devil's advocate part of my mind going against like the whole objective. Like if they made 1 million profit, like they know things you don't, you know. Like like the objective thinking can go a little bit too far sometimes, which I think that's like the vehicle and the timing. So if you have the relentless pursuit and there's also like a legitimate vehicle for you to create wealth, then if you just make sure that maybe you're not in the right vehicle now, but you can hijack it. So like you're going down the highway and you're like, I'm gonna fucking make this, and your fucking moped runs out, and like now you're running down the street, and then you see somebody like pull over to fix a flat tire, and you can just go pick up the crowbar, hit him in the head, and get in the car and take off. You know, and then maybe down the road there's somebody with a Ferrari that you could take. That's probably a terrible example because you're stealing from people and hitchhiking on the way, or taking whatever it's called, hijacking on the way. But my point is like the vehicle is really important. Like we all know people who are making a ton of money, and you look at their day to day, and you're like, this person's like not doing much, and they're fucking printing money, and it's just because they found a vehicle that's good, and that goes back to the relentless pursuit. If you pursue relentlessly, you're going to see a bunch of opportunity around you, and so then by even like relentlessly pursuing something that's like not that good, like let's just say online arbitrage is not that good, and like people keep getting in this space, it gets saturated, but you're making 10 grand a month, 5 grand a month, negative 3 grand a month, 15 grand a month. But then you see somebody else doing something else, and then you start to hop on that vehicle. Like that's, you know, that's I think that's part of the equation is like keeping your eyes open for that.
Yeah, definitely. And your pursuit, like you said, this relentless pursuit thing, you're eventually going to stumble upon these lucky moments or these vehicles anyway. So, like a lot of these
Yeah.
guys, yeah, like they did get lucky, obviously. Like a ton of these people, I even talked about with Miles, we had him on the pod, and I was like, dude, a lot of the success that we had came from luck because me and him both started around 2020 with the Amazon big, and COVID happened. Like it was a lucky situation, but who else had the balls to do that stuff then? Like not a lot of people. And maybe it's like, well, now I do have the balls to do it. It's not as good of an opportunity. You got to find some better place to do it. So like
Yeah.
even the luck comes with this factor of, okay, well, I'm going to take advantage of the situation massively and not have any like scared stuff behind me to where I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll just
yeah,
do this
and
instead.
and also just like looking at what you're good at. Like some people are really good at like certain things, and like some people are like really enjoy doing certain things. Like some people really enjoy pushing content or promoting, like making videos all the time. And like I feel like I do have a little bit of that in me, maybe a lot more than the average person. And then there's things like I enjoy getting out of my comfort zone and like going to other countries, and like I'm not afraid to have like difficult conversations, and like I'm not afraid to like propose things. And so like my skill set's a little bit different there, and like I'm gonna fucking go to China and like meet these suppliers for these products, and like I'm gonna talk them down to like a third of the price. And like that's just something that like is sounds fun to me, even if I get like if I miss out on it. And then you just get people who are, like enjoy different things. So like Naval Ravikant says it, but find what feels like play to you, but work to other people. And I think you can do that. And like if you try to copy somebody who's like a hard worker and like getting results or whatever, you might feel fucking dead inside. And they probably don't because they're doing what they want to do, and you're just trying to copy them. So instead, you should just find the few things that like you really enjoy doing, back to the vehicle thing, that also like allow you to be in the vehicle that takes you to wealth, and then just fucking grind those out. You know, like there's people that go to the gym and they're like, I fucking hate every minute of going to the gym. Like this fucking sucks. And then there's people like Sam Solik, who's like big as fuck, 21 years old. And he's like, I fucking love the gym. Like every day, like I love being here. I don't know what the fuck all these people on TikTok are talking about. You know, and I think we can all do that. And like, I have certain things in my business that I absolutely enjoy doing. Like I enjoy doing these podcasts. Um, and there's things I hate doing, you know, and I think that's like part of it. But if you can find, like I love wrestling, and I don't think I think people that hate wrestling couldn't get good at wrestling. And so finding the things that feel more like play to you and are more tolerable to you, and maybe from the outside perspective people are like, wow, you're working really hard, but you love it, like just do more of those things. And I don't think that's talked about enough. I think people like Hermosi talk about like grind, but like first and foremost, like find what you actually want to do, because you can do what the fuck you want in this life. Like we live in the 21st century, like the opportunities are endless. Pick a few things, because it's eventually gonna suck. Like that's the right thing that Hormozy talks about. Like it's gonna suck. Like you, even if you love wrestling or gymnastics or posting videos, like there's gonna be days you just don't want to do it, and like you got to grind through those days. But find the things that don't really feel like work most of the time for you, but do for other people.
Yep, I agree. What you got, John?
Yeah, I agree too with that as well. Because like I always looked at it as you have to like choose your problems. Like every business model is going to have problems. Every working out, you're going to not want to go. There's just always
Yeah,
things that you just have to whatever problems you want. And I went through this too. I like you were saying, like I tried the influencer program, and it just really clicked for me, and I absolutely love doing that. I spend pretty much all my time doing that now. And yeah, it's just been a game changer for me. Um, you went to? Did you do Alex Hermosi's
yeah,
in person? What was that
yeah.
like?
It was phenomenal. Got to sit down, listen to people walking the walk or walking the talk. He had like five to seven speakers that build his companies from 5 million a year to 10 million a year plus in profit. So like that's what he does, is scales companies. And you had those people, like his team, that scales his companies from like marketing to like, I don't know, operations. I'm terrible with like the different departments. Like all the different people gave their talks. Like they were the presenters. It wasn't any fluff. And so you got to sit down and listen to his team. And then the next day he gave you access to them via round tables. And so you got to sit down and like ask the director of marketing. You got to ask like the guy that did his affiliate launch for his book. You got to just sit there and ask him questions, and then you just got to talk to them like all day. Like it was a very valuable event. And we're modeling Miami Sellers Conference. After that, we're gonna do speakers the first half of the day, and then roundtable discussions slash panels the second half of the day. Just give people access to high level. And I'm trying to emulate that too. Is like I'm trying to bring the best people to ask questions to, like the people who are making the most money on Amazon right now. Like let's put them in front of everyone and just let people ask them questions. You know, and so yeah, it was a really good event. Layla came out there, Alex came out there. I got to ask Alex a question directly to him. Like I told him all my numbers with go-to lister, and like I asked him what I need to do, and he was like, dude, just be fucking patient. And so yeah,
That was
it was
all of his
cool.
answer. I was going to ask you what's the most valuable thing. So you asked him.
Yeah, like that was really valuable for me. Him just being like, dude, like be patient, like, and like him saying the competition is imaginary. That was really impactful for me too, because I feel like I get sometimes like, I don't know, I see like a new Amazon seller like trend or software, and I'm like, oh, like whatever, like my brain just goes in panic mode. Like when in reality, it's like, dude, are you doing the things you need to do in the first place? Like just focus on those first. So I'd say like that realization was really big. Focusing on the constraint is really big. Um, and just like the thought process in general. So like focusing on the constraint is focus on the one thing in your business that's going to drive like the maximum results for what you're looking for. So like obviously you want to grow your business to as much profit as possible. So like what is the bottleneck? Like what is the one thing you can work on today and only focus on that? And then something else I learned from him and his team is like he instills these principles and like these phrases like focus on the constraint, you know. And there's a bunch of others too. And they're essentially values, and like his whole team embodies the values. And like you talk to like different people on his team, you can tell they all have like this structure of how they think. And so I think as a good leader on your team, you should be able to instill those in your team as well, and just like the people you interact with, like they should kind of know what the answer is before they ask you a lot of times. And so that was something else I learned. And then I always look at it from like a meta perspective too. Like he's doing an event, he's charging people 5 grand to go to the event. Like what is Alex himself focusing on? Like what does he see as an opportunity? And obviously his education and events and community is like a big investment. And so like I try to take a page from that book and think, how can I emulate that? How can I do the same thing with Miami? How can I make people leave with this similar feelings, you know? So yeah.
What do you run any ads for your software?
Not right now. It's hard to like run profitable ads because it's just $50 a month.
Yeah.
Um, what's always been profitable for me is running ads to a course, and
And then
then
upselling.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, in the past it was affiliates, but right now I just back to doing what you want. I like hired an ads guy and like I was ready to go, and I was like, I just don't feel like doing this right now. Like, and I have a lot of opportunity in my business, like, and I could go a lot of different directions. And there was one big opportunity, which is half the reason why I'm in China right now, or I was in China. I just saw this and like I would just feel much better with my time spent, like really growing my Amazon business to the point where I'm financially free just from the money I make there. That would just make me feel like better right now, at least, and like I enjoy doing that work than running a webinar to sell my course teaching Amazon when, I'm not making as much money as I could be in my Amazon business. Like I think I can make more money in my Amazon business if I just focus on that than if I kept bringing people in, teaching them Amazon, and then maybe my Amazon business goes to shit while I'm teaching people to sell Amazon, and then I'm like this fake guru, and my soul's empty because I'm running like 30K ad spend a week, selling people my course, making like 40K back. I'm making 10K profit a week. Great. And I'm building my software company big, but like now I'm not an Amazon seller because I've focused too much on that. And that's like an extreme version of it, but that's kind of how I felt in the past. And so right now I'm going to focus on building my Amazon because that's the work I want to do. And that's kind of been my theme. That's like what I've learned over the last year. And that's like why I went to Hormozy and like different events is like to find my direction. And I think I just need to focus on like, number one, good vehicles. And number two, like, what the fuck do I want to do? Because like this life's short, and like, what are we doing if we don't do what we find interesting and most meaningful, and um versus like things that make you feel like you've kind of sold your soul a little bit. And I think if I went the course selling route right now, I'd feel that way. Not, I don't have anything against course creators. Like I think they're great, but and probably in the future, hopefully I'll get that going again. But in order for me to run profitable ads for go-to lister, like it's much easier if I have that course and then upsell them to, or downsell them to the software in the back end. And right now that's not on my plate.
Yeah, I get
So
it. Yeah, we just had a big conversation with somebody. It's just like eventually what happens is you sell these courses and you get to this point where you're just like, oh, I'm definitely selling my soul. This is horrible. And he was just like, one or two people can sour the whole thing. So you could have like 100 people and it all be good, but like one or two bad ones, and it just like gets in your head and you're like, oh,
It's all perspective,
yeah.
you know. And like if you're getting people results and like I think you're doing great work. I think you're making a positive impact on the world. But I think some people don't get many people results at all, and like those people are like psychopathic, and um, that's a whole different story. But most of the people I know in the Amazon space who have been selling courses for years, like you can't really sell courses for years and be full of shit. Like you're probably getting people results on some level, you know?
Yeah. Well, dude, another thing, just like unsolicited advice here, you could always run ads to a lower ticket course. You know, you don't have to do like a higher ticket thing and then just kind of make it an upsell on the software. And if you get the numbers right, you can get it right. The only reason I even say that is because with the software stuff, it's hard to get direct, like you said, it's unprofitable. But if you let's say it's $100 for a customer and they stick around, dude, all it takes is 3 months and you're up $50 and then you have them forever. So that
Yeah,
ad stuff's hard. It's like a lot of short term pain because you're gonna like just suffer fucking massive ad spend, losing money. But it's just like a long term type of thing. It's probably what Hermosi was talking about with the patients too, because I know he's big into ads, and it's like yeah, it must take time, especially when we're running software, because you just don't get no one's just gonna buy a year up front every time. It's not the way it works.
yeah, yeah, yeah. My philosophy with the software is like, let's just grow slow. Let's make the best product ever. Um, that we can for us, like something new, and then just grind away for years in the content. Like I know I'm not gonna go anywhere with content, so just grind, 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 and then at the same time like develop myself as a seller because I feel like in the past I've focused too much on like not selling on Amazon, and then all of a sudden I'm fucking the host of this event, post on social media all the time, and my Amazon business like isn't making shit. So I'd rather make a shit ton doing what got me to this space in the first place and like what I'm preaching to everyone, you know?
Yeah, make your internal dialogue better. If you end up making
Yeah.
fucking 800K on Amazon this year, you'll be able to sell whatever you want because you'll feel great about it. So yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
exactly. And that's just me, you know? And like I don't even judge people who don't make money on Amazon that sell courses. Like if you're getting people results and it's working for you and it's working for them, like who gives a shit,
Yeah.
you know?
What you got, John?
No, I like that a lot, and I think what is kind of your strategy then around with the content? So I think for me, it's always been hard, and kind of what you were alluding to before. It's like obviously you're more advanced, and I get questions all the time. It's sometimes hard to go back, like, oh yeah, I forgot about like what a pain in the ass
Yeah.
it is to open an account, or like, I
Yeah.
always feel like I make a lot of videos to try to help people source. I'm like, everyone already knows this shit, but then you get the
Yeah.
comment like, oh, this is so helpful. So like, how do you kind of go about that?
If I don't know it, I just default to like somebody else in the community, and usually I have like someone on the call or someone in the group that I know is like really detail oriented with like removal orders or repricing. I feel like my repricing philosophy is still pretty good, even though I haven't like repriced books for a while. People ask me, and I just like ping the community, like, "Hey, what's working for everyone?" You know, like if I don't know the answer, I just ask the community, and then I relay that response back. And in terms of like producing content, I know what works, and so that goes back to like doing what you don't feel like doing, but you know the community needs or you know your business needs, and like that's like how to sell books on Amazon videos. Like I'm just like, okay, like let's make this as interesting as possible, and like let me say the same thing for the thousandth fucking time, and then do it. But then like the content I really like to create is like content like this where we're like having like a dialogue and thinking through things that are on our head and like kind of like evolving. Like I really enjoy this. Kind of like Joe Rogan. Like Joe Rogan won't make a podcast if he doesn't enjoy the podcast. And I think that's like a really interesting rule because he looks at it as art, you know. But Joe Rogan goes to the gym and works out when he doesn't feel like it. And so I think like the different position that we're in is like these are our businesses that we're growing, and sometimes you got to do things you don't feel like doing. But then there's also the art element, which I feel like this podcast is art. And so you guys should choose guests that you feel like are good guests that you want to interview. Cause like the work, and I've done this before too. Like I've done my podcast like every week and I'll just like interview people because I know I should be. And like, I'm like, I've interviewed like 5 different types or 15 different types of people that are exactly like you, and I'm so fucking bored. And like maybe I should just stop doing that. And maybe it's like, but I know people are gonna watch it and get inspired and take action. But for me, it's just like I'm behind the curtain, and I know that all the answers to the questions and everything, and so it's less interesting to me. But I don't know how much you guys have been influenced by Joe Rogan, but I've been listening to him since I was like 14 years old. And
Same.
so when it comes to creating content and podcasts and stuff, I'm really inspired by him because you can tell he doesn't bring people on he doesn't want on ever.
Yep.
But I think that can kind of get in the Amazon space. Like you got to create content sometimes you don't want to do. That's just part of it. But
Yeah, that's
a little
helped us a
different.
ton, I think, where we don't sell any like direct courses or anything. We can just have on whoever we want. They can talk about whatever they want. We're not doing any like paid stuff. So it's just like it feels very authentic. And I think that's how we've been able to keep it going for over a year now. Like we've done almost 100
Yeah.
episodes now. And it's like, because we don't have any friction with making this podcast. Like we get on here and
Yeah.
like if somebody says something, you say, okay, well, I don't completely agree with that or whatever. It just feels good. That's what Rogan does too. That's how you keep the
Yeah.
longevity. And we've talked to multiple guys with Amazon podcasts, and they all kind of say the same thing. You can watch all these podcasts die out. Like every single one of them ends up dying because they're like, dude, I've said the same thing, like 60 episodes long.
Yeah. Somebody commented on one of my podcasts, and when I first started making content, I went full Joe Rogan approach. And so I would bring on like a dancer in Miami, like a girl, or I interviewed like a dance professor in California, and like I'm posting these on like my book selling channel. I didn't even know it was a book selling channel, but that's just what I was posting all the time. And like on my Amazon channel, I'm posting like whatever the fuck I want. I would interview people like left field, whatever, and I didn't get many views, and now I'm way better at getting views. But then I went the complete opposite route where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna bring on the guest I know people want to listen to, blah blah blah. And like, dude, like the 60th episode, I'm like, somebody commented, they were like, "You ask the same questions all the time. This is so boring." I'm like, "You're right. I feel the same fucking way. Like I'm gonna stop fucking. This is a sign." But that's it, man. Like there's got to be the consistency. You got to you know give people what they want. But shit, like when you're creating art, like there is a whole dynamic of actually bringing on people that you're interested in.
Yeah, the
That's
way.
what we've
Yeah.
probably learned the most. Like probably the two people that were not Amazon related, we were kind of on the fence about, and those are probably the best episodes. That's the one that's going viral right now.
That's the best combo. When
And
you're
the
like, well, I
other
want to do
one,
this. I don't know if people will like it, and then people like it too.
and so that's what we're learning. The next, I don't know, batch of guests are going to be about that, and we're either going to learn a lot or we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I also look at all this as like a muscle. Like I'm only at 16K on YouTube, but if I just keep grinding, like eventually like back to the vehicle thing, maybe another opportunity comes up where like I'm like the viral type person and like I've worked this muscle so long where like now it's my time to shine, you know? And like I look at it as like yeah, I've been consistent on Amazon. Like I'm big in the community, but I'm not like I never had my moment like where Reezy's like at 500K, you know. But like life is long, and it's not like views are like the most important things, but like you just don't know until like that moment comes. And so like if we stay sharp, work on making content that we believe in, like we're building this muscle. And so when an opportunity comes around, like it could be your time, you know.
Yeah, that's luck, right? It's just when you're faced with something, you're just already prepared for it. So then you get lucky, but you really didn't get lucky. You just like
Yeah.
grinded forever. Yeah, 100%.
And it's not even like it's better, like if you get more views, like that's almost like a shallow way to look at it. But back to the objectivity thing, it's like, oh, like, you haven't mastered YouTube until you're getting a fuck ton of views. Alex Ramosi says that, like somebody was like asking about YouTube advice, and like, yeah, I kind of figured YouTube out, blah blah blah, and I'm trying to move on to the next thing. He's like, how many subs do you have? And they're like 3,000. He's like, you haven't fucking figured out shit. Like, keep making YouTube videos.
Have you ever had a viral video, like super viral?
On TikTok, I think I got like 600,000. For like a Wim Hof breathing method tutorial during COVID. I was showing people how to breathe. Steve's gotten a lot, and sometimes well, maybe not in any of his viral videos. He gets like 1 million on like these book selling videos. I make the same fucking ones. I swear, I don't get 1 million views on them. That's probably my most viral video.
Yeah, the only reason I asked is because if you have like a sales, which that's not like a sales one, but if you're promoting your thing and you get a ton of views and it doesn't produce like a ton of revenue, you're just like, fuck, man, that was like my moment.
Yeah,
And I didn't take advantage of that moment. I've
we
had
we
like,
were doing good. We didn't even realize how good we were doing, but like during TikTok, we would get like 20,000 views. We get which is a lot of people, and we get like 400,000 views, and we'd promote our weekly book selling webinar, and we were doing like thousands in course sales a day, like 26.
oh no,
Hold on.
hey,
Sorry,
you got a
somebody's
call.
calling me. We had no idea what we had. Can you hear
What
me
were you
now?
saying? You were doing thousands a day. That's where it cut off.
Yeah, we did. We were getting like we had like 800 people show up to a webinar one time, and like we didn't realize what we had, in front of us, but it was just all these free views from TikTok, you
Yeah,
know.
it probably converted somewhat well too. I think people
Yeah,
think
it
TikTok
did.
traffic is trash, and it's not. It's just
Yeah,
everywhere. But it's the same type of thing.
yeah, yeah. It was good.
Well, they're approaching an hour. Is there anything you want to talk about to close this out here? Any questions you got for
What are
me?
you up to? I haven't talked to you in a while, Drew. What are
Yeah,
you
dude, well,
doing?
last year I got really into like the marketing and the business stuff. That's why like I like talking about the software and stuff, just because like I can see it all in my head. Like I can get the bigger picture a bit. But I just stopped as soon as Trump became president. Just started trading crypto and lost a shitload of money. But then, as I told you before, I'm up like well over five figs now in the last month, so it's going well. It's
Fuck
fun,
yeah.
dude. It's like
Did
one of
did
those
you buy
things that
Trump
I
coin?
can. What is it?
You buy Trump coin?
Yeah, that started my like making my money back. Like I was down
Yeah.
probably 15 grand. That coin came out and I could have hit a ridiculous amount, like probably retired from the amount of money I could have made off
I
of it.
know.
But instead
Yeah.
I made like 8 grand, but that was enough to like, okay,
What'd you buy
now
in at?
one bill. It went to 79 bill,
You bought in at how much?
1 billion. And it went to 79 billion. So I could have done an 80x, but I sold it early.
So you bought, what would that be? 100?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. 100. So no, it depends how much
Damn.
money you put in. Yeah, and I fumbled a lot on that, but I fumbled like well over $40 million of this crypto stuff, so I understand it can work. Like I fumbled like 130
Do you
grand.
follow Dylan Palacio?
I don't think so.
You should follow him. He's gonna be at Miami this year, hopefully. He says he's coming. He's a Cornell wrestler. He goes off on people all the time on social media, but he's self-made millionaire. He's probably worth like 10 million plus now. But super smart guy. He makes crypto calls. He's got his own group, but just like
Okay.
a really smart guy. And
Yeah, the crypto stuff's fun to me, man. Like I can sit on the computer all day and kind of just do that stuff, and I never thought I'd be into it, but I can do it for 12 hours a day, and I just love doing it. So that's like
yeah,
that's what we were
yeah,
on about before. It's like that's if your personality's built for that, then that you got
yeah. Yeah, you got to find like the weird things you enjoy. Like some people like hate talking with other people, and like they're like so exhausted at the end of the day. But like if you get fueled by talking to people, then you can just find a way to make your life where you just talk to people all the time and make money. You know, like if you put me in front of a computer and had me code all day, like I'd fucking kill myself. And that's what my partner at Go To Lister enjoys doing. Like that's all he wants to do is fucking code. And if he had to do what I do and like go meet people in person and like make social media posts and host events, he would just be so fucking stressed, I guarantee it. So
But that's me. Although it's ironic, I run like the podcast with John, but I hate that stuff. That's why the networking events, like I've never been like, I just don't
dude,
like
you,
doing
you
that
should you
stuff,
should come to Miami.
bro. There's no shot. I have
Why don't you
zero.
want to?
I have zero benefit now. I don't give a shit about any of those people. I'm not in the Amazon space. Like, it's not
Yeah.
really my like. I would get no benefit at
You
all.
got the podcast.
Yeah,
So
the John's going. He can
um
promote it.
So,
you're still fresh enough from the Amazon space. It'd be interesting dialogue to have with people maybe. I don't know. Have you ever been to an in-person Amazon event?
No, I'm just not really a networking guy like that, dude. Like, I just
I mean,
don't
you're
really.
fucking
I don't
you're
know, man. I
networking
don't
on here
know.
every week. You post content.
I don't. I don't post content much anymore.
Well, John posts who posts the
Yeah.
podcast.
But I didn't post much content before. Like I just met people because people reached out to me. I don't know, I said valuable shit, I guess, and people so I never really had the need to network. And none of my ever networking things made me like a ton of money. Like all my money I made by myself. So I was just like this to me, it just didn't really correlate. So I just never, did it. Which I understand
Mm,
how it will for some people. Like you like that stuff. So I could see where you would get the benefit. But I'm just like, this is kind of irritating. like to do that kind of stuff. To me, it just
Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw your post about that in the OA, or I saw a clip of you saying that networking didn't help me. But the
yeah,
thing with me is like networking's like made me. It's like the only thing. I look at everything in my business right now and it's all like all the Amazon accounts I sell on, networking,
yep,
all because all my Amazon accounts were shut down, so now I have to sell on other people's. And so now like it's diversified me, it's helped protected me in a sense. And then all the products I found, networking, um, go to lister, building it, networking with affiliates, with the people who are building it. Like I just can't think of something that I'm doing right now that wasn't directly from networking, and that's why like I'm gung ho on it. But you don't like with crypto, you don't feel like that was networking. You just learn from other people.
no, I mean, I just did it all on my own, and then I joined a group recently, but I haven't gotten any things from them. The only thing I got from them was confidence because they told me I was good at it. Like this is the same theme across all my networking things, Amazon and crypto. It's like I'll do something for a long time and I have no clue if I'm good or not, and then I'll talk to people and they're like, "Oh, you're really good at this, dude! Like way better than you think." And then I'll have it increase. Like Amazon needed the confidence to buy more shit because I'm like, I don't even know if I'm good, and then people are like, "Every lead is so good that you're sending." Then I do better. Crypto's the same way. I joined a group, and it wasn't that they were feeding me good stuff. It's just they were like, "Dude, you're already good at this. Now I have the conviction and the mentality to like hold stuff and have
Yeah,
that."
yeah. And I think that was initially like what networking did for me was just like meeting people and then showing like their sales on Amazon or and like you just feel like how could someone possibly be putting these numbers up? I remember I was at a book selling event years ago and this guy was like I don't know, some guy was bragging, like, oh, I'm doing 30K a month. And I'm like, wow, like, that's amazing. And then, like, I went over and had drinks with this other guy. He's like, yeah, I'm doing 300K a month. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how the fuck is this even possible? Like, I've been, like, traveling the country, like, sourcing books and, like, shipping them. I'm at, like, 3 grand in sales. Like, how the fuck are you doing 300K? Like, how is this fucking possible? And then, like, you realize, like, there's levels to it. And, like, that, like, unlocks something in my brain, you know? Um, and he didn't teach me anything. He just showed me his phone that
Yeah,
he was doing 300K. You know, like
yeah. I think it's a lot
you're invited.
mentoring. Like
You're invited to Miami.
if you feel like you have a lot of value from that stuff, like duh, you're gonna be like, yeah, you had this is a good thing. But it's just like life experience. Like if I guarantee if I ever have a network encounter in the future where it massively benefits my life, dude, I'll be the first person to be like, yeah, it's good. It's just like as right now.
And maybe I also look for it. Like me and Taylor will sit down, and like he'll be like, "Ah," we both feel like this way. Like we don't know if we want to do Miami Sellers Conference again. Like this is a fuck ton of work. Like let's fucking just stop doing this. And then we'll like look at our life and we'll be like, well wait. Like you're selling this product. We met this guy at Miami. We got this loan. Like this guy loaned money. Blah blah blah. I don't know. Like and we just like to do. I'm like okay. Like a lot of shit comes from this event or connections, and maybe we're like overreaching. You know, like maybe we're like looking for like opportunities or like, explaining why things are the way they are because of networking. But I don't know. For me,
But you just go
that's been
personality. Just be like, dude, if you get inspiration and help with other people, then come. You know, that's really all it is. Because you have introverts. Like your software company is the perfect example. Like if you invited that guy to Miami Sales Conference, he's probably going to hate his life. If you
dude.
just like
He's found a way to like get out of. He's been around for the past 3 Miami events, and he's only come to one. And he's not coming this year. Like
exactly.
he finds ways to not come.
Exactly. That's how people like. I'm the same way, dude. If I get, I'm just like, I'll find a way to not do this. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. I don't know what it is in our brains that are like that. You guys are both different than me in that aspect. Although I love talking to people, I like these kind of talks more. Like I like to one on one. I can talk on
I
Zoom all
I
day.
I personally, I know you're not coming to Miami, but I personally think you'd fucking love it because like you're just around people who are like minded. Um, like even people like Amazon Lit was like, yeah, like you think I enjoy like getting harassed with these questions? Like he's like the yacht sounds terrible. He's like I'm gonna be cornered by all these sellers just fucking asking me questions, and then like I see him on the yacht. He's got the biggest smile on his face, and he's like answering like having drinks, and I'm like, you motherfucker, you said you hated this, and like look at you smiling, and he's like, fuck.
Yeah, I mean,
So
maybe my mind could change. I honestly, the Amazon thing's the biggest holding back now. It's
yeah,
like I would have. They'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Trading crypto," and they'd be like, "You're fucking nuts." So
yeah. Well, we do have that crypto guy coming, so that's and that's why I want like a different perspective on it, you know. So you ended Amazon. Sorry to keep this going, but I
No, we
haven't
don't
talked to
care.
you.
There's no time limit. I just
Yeah.
said I didn't
Okay.
want to keep you
It's
too long.
Rogan
We can
style.
talk
We
for
go
2 fucking
until
hours,
it
dude.
goes.
Yeah, we don't care.
Okay, cool. The last, I think maybe we've talked once, or like I talked to you before you were gonna do your last Amazon webinar or whatever you would call it, training. It was like 6 hours or something.
Mhm.
Um, I talked to John after that, I think, at Miami. I think it was right before Miami of
Yeah.
last year. How did that go? And did you ever like look back at Amazon? Like, how did everything turn out?
Yeah. So, yeah, the first time I was on your podcast, I think, as like an Amazon seller. Originally, that's how we first met, I think. But anyways, back to when I quit that. Yeah, I wanted to do like a last two raw, and I was like, what do I have? Like, how can I exit this business? And I was like, I have a lot of knowledge, and I know I can coach people because I did it for so long, and I'm really good at rants. Like, that's what people would like to hear out of me. So I did that, and I made. I'll tell you off the pod how much I made, but I bet you'll be shocked. But it was a lot, and it was very valuable. Although I don't know how
Wait,
valuable
how much you made off Amazon or how much you made off selling
the webinar. Yeah, the webinar.
the
Or that
webinar?
wasn't. It was
Nice.
a seminar. So I put it on Zoom. It was like not recorded. I was gonna make people sign NDAs, but I didn't do that. I didn't even really care at that point. But I talked for 6 hours straight. Dude, I was like losing my mind by the end of it. Like no joke. And there was no chat back. So like all the chat I made them. I set it up like really well. I had somebody help me with it. They could only send me messages, but they couldn't see other people's messages. So if people were like harassing the chat, like there was this one retard that just kept fucking asking stupid questions. And I was like, dude, you've got to stop asking these questions. Like you're making me go 3 more hours and none of this stuff matters. And then I get on a
Yeah.
call with, and then I did a 1 hour call with each person, like almost everybody. They got on a call after to go
Nice.
over the thing and I could give them notes, that type of thing. I sent them my entire inventory lab from 2020 to 2024, every product I've ever sold, all the Excel. So they got to like look through those products. I'm happy I did it. I think it was unique. No one's ever done it. And I don't think anybody can pull it off after unless they're just really, really massive because I positioned it well. Like I was learning marketing at the time too, but it went well. I'm happy I did it. And I'm happy I quit Amazon too. Yeah. If that was your overall question.
Do you know if people did anybody like take it and run with it? What you taught them and like get results? Do you know, or
Well, I mean,
you're
some
not?
people said like, yeah, this one guy was like, I made like 26 grand last month based off the stuff you told me, but that was one dude. Now, a lot of these guys, like a lot of them, I just told them it was an expensive learning lesson. I was like, you just paid me to tell you to quit. Because a lot of them were like in really bad spots with their business. And I was like, dude, I was in a good spot and I quit. You definitely need to quit. Because they would be like 10K in the hole. And there was just no, I'm like, you can't fight yourself back to life here. Like, you're not going to keep buying info and eventually figure it out. Like, this is obviously not working for you. And there's better ways for you to make it work. So a lot of times the call went like that. So I might have saved them money in the future. But I told a lot of people to quit. I said you should just stop.
Mhm.
But it's just because their situation
And
is
then
really
and
bad.
this was like in the everyone was like kind of like in the OA space, right?
Every one of them.
It
Yeah,
was-
every one of them.
yeah.
Yeah, it was an OA seminar type thing.
Yeah. I feel like OA is like one of those things where you can, when you find something good, you can just pump the fuck out of it and make a ton of money. Like Stefan Does Business is going to be at Miami this year because he did 1.7 million in like a 30-day period. But I also feel like it's like the hardest to like maintain over a long period of time because you're always chasing the new deal. You get like people are always talking about things get saturated really fast, you know.
Yeah, it's hard. That's why I quit overall. I was just like, I don't want to do wholesale because that's kind of a relationship based thing, right? It's not even close to OA because you're sourcing, but it's really how well you can meet people. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
we're doing right now, right? So obviously I don't like to do that. So I'm like, there's no position for me in the future. We tried to do private label a little bit. That just seemed a little far out there at the moment. Maybe I'll do a brand in the future. That's kind of what it is. But at the moment, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, privately, I feel like that's the dream for everyone. Just buy shit from China, get it listed on Amazon, have your own brand. I feel
Yeah.
like that's kind of like all like what we got into Amazon for was, and then we found out like, oh, this is fucking hard. You got to spend a few $1,000s. Like it might never sell. Like you have to have your own brand. Like, can you even sell this product? Like all these different things pop up, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'll just find books to sell on Amazon, or I'll just buy some shit off Kohl's.com, or like something easier, something for a quick win.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, man. As the brand building, it's just all patience because you just can't instantly up your ad spend. Everything goes well. It just doesn't work like
Hmm.
that. You have to do all these little moving pieces that make the whole thing work. When, like you said, you could just go on Kohl's and buy shit and sell it in 3 hours. Like that's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a lot
yeah,
instant gratification instead of, building for a year and you might not do shit.
right. Yeah, I think teaching wise, it's a lot easier to teach books and OA and RA because people get really quick results. And like
Mm.
anybody who you're teaching, if you like go scan 1,000 fucking items, like they're gonna get results fast. Like they're gonna find some shit eventually. But like if you're teaching private label or wholesale, like I don't think you have as many of those guys out there because for people to get their first win in wholesale or private label, it's gonna take a while. You know, so it's a lot harder. Um,
What?
but and then John, you still doing the Amazon influencer
Mm-hmm.
mainly?
Grinding the Amazon influencer, yeah.
Nice. That's going pretty good.
Yeah, it's going awesome. I love it. It's really starting to like
Nice.
pick up, getting a lot of brand deals. Yeah, this
Nice.
is like a really solid month. So it's like all coming
Nice.
together. But it took a
Yeah.
year to get here, right? It seems stupid. I think last year Miami, I was at like 500 videos, not like 2,600 right now.
Heck
So
yeah.
a lot of work has been done in this last year to kind of get it to where it is.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's an interesting outlook on Amazon too, like making videos for people. I'm seeing people do videos on some of our products and I'm like, dude, I pay this person to like make a video on my other product too. So you kind of get to see like the perspective of like marketing on Amazon rather than just like reselling.
Yeah, it's a whole different. Yeah, it makes it. I mean, the opportunity is just crazy because people are launching products all the time. Every year Nike comes out with new sneakers. It's just there's just so much you could do.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was gonna ask what else you
You,
got.
I was gonna say, Drew, what's your plan for the future?
Bro, make 2 mil off crypto and feel good, and that's it. I don't know. I mean, uh, I'll run that. Me and John are about to start. This podcast should be out after, so we're gonna do like a TikTok shop thing where we like go to $10,000, like just first one to $10,000 or whatever. Kind of make it a challenge type thing. And
Another
start
reason
it
to
on
come to Miami,
Instagram.
we got TikTok shop people coming through. We got Varo and Carter.
Dude, I'm not
Varro's
fucking
episode
coming.
actually dropped today. We just had him on the pod.
Yeah, we
You had both those guys?
Varro, yeah, his episode drops today.
yeah, I
We
got
had
killed.
Trevin before. Cade was on just recently.
Yeah, we've talked
Nice.
about TikTok.
You guys interviewed the whole damn speaker lineup, and Drew's not coming.
Nah, man. Maybe next time. But that's what we're gonna do that in the future. I don't know, man. I don't have any like concrete plans because like I want to do something I like, and a lot of the stuff right now I'm just like this feels like such a grind. So I want to do
Yeah.
something I enjoy. Which this is probably the worst thing I can do is doing crypto because that fries your brain, man. I mean that's like so much dopamine. Like I was telling John like 2 days ago I hit a trade 150 into 10K in 20 minutes, $150 into $10,000 profit realized in my bank account in like 10 minutes. And that stuff's just like,
Yeah.
dude, how are you going to do anything after that? That's like
Yeah.
like you're not going to make any money faster than that. And it requires
Yeah.
clicking like 3 buttons.
Yeah. Yeah. What's crazy is like just thinking if you like 100x what you put in. So like putting in like 10K or 100K on that flip, like how much money you could have had.
Yeah. Which a lot of this stuff, the problem is there's not enough liquidity for that to happen. So the Trump thing was like a black swan event where you could put in $1 million at the beginning of that and make $50 million. These other coins, you can't do that because there's not enough liquidity. If you can't sell your position, like if you tried to sell, the chart would just go to zero and you would lose most of your like profit that you had. So it's a little complicated, but that's hitting those like crazy $5 million trades. It's kind of impossible unless there's like a Trump style thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that's kind of why we're also doing the TikTok things. Is we talked to Veros, and he was like, "Yeah, I made $110,000 in 30 days." We're like, "What the fuck?" Like I see Trevin do it too. He's making like 20, 30K every month on TikTok Shop with like little to no expense. It's like insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, dude,
Yeah. TikTok
great
shop is
podcast.
exciting.
I will not be going to Miami, but if people want to go, we'll link it in the
There'll be a link
description.
down below.
You have anything to close the deal?
Use code John50 for $50 off.
That's right.
What's
That's
the
a real code.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I got the email yesterday. So yeah, use code John50. Any closing words? Where can they find you?
Roamer the Roamer, all platforms. Hopefully see you guys in Miami. And yeah, DM me if you got questions about anything Amazon related.
Sweet. I'll do.
Deal.
Great
All
talking
right,
to you.
guys,
Swag.
like, subscribe, go follow Avery, get your ticket, $50 off, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.